On a personal level, I think the way that my Ryder Cup journey has been, my first one was in France, and like that one just felt like that. That was amazing. That was my first one. It went so well for us all, and we sort of cruised to victory, if you like, in that one. And I had no other experience of a Ryder Cup except, well, we won that one. That was great, and then took a hammering at Whistling Straits away from home with no fans whatsoever because of the COVID situation. And I think we've all said it a few times. I think on that 18th green at Whistling Straits, I think straight away, you all stood there in silence. You didn't need to look at each other, but every single one of you wanted to be back because we didn't like that feeling of losing and the way we lost, and how we didn't feel like we did ourselves justice in the way that we played. And we just wanted to get that opportunity again and try and make the next team and get that opportunity to come and play and get the Ryder Cup back. So I think this one came with a lot of points to prove, and I think a lot of desire from us all. So I think when that time came on Sunday, when we did eventually win the Ryder Cup, I think we were. I felt relieved because I was one of the ones hitting the shots towards the end, but I just think there was a lot of pride and joy in the fact that we'd, not necessarily that we've been written off, but I think Europe generally, for whatever reason, I know the US has such a strong team and that, so many amazing golfers, but I think Europe always go in as underdogs, and we never, we don't have a chip on our shoulder at all. We don't mind that at all, but we don't see ourselves that way. And I think a lot of times we feel like we might have a point to prove, but this time we just, we were so motivated to get that Ryder Cup back. So I think when we eventually did, the emotion was sort of pretty crazy.
It's it's such a good event. It's great. I can't even imagine what it's like to be at the heart of it and be a part of it. Even as a golf fan, I find it very hard to watch golf after a Ryder Cup. I always think it's occurred to me it must be a weird transition for you as a player to hit a regular tee shot in a regular tournament after being in that kind of cauldron of noise for 3 days. Is that a weird sensation? Coming back down to earth in a way?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think it's such an emotional roller coaster, the Ryder Cup, and it's crazy that you still never get used to. Like for instance, when you play 2 matches in a day, it's not necessarily. You're not physically tired when you go into the second round, but emotionally there's like a drop-off where you finish the first match and then you have to get yourself up because every point means so much, and there's always so much, you feel so much pressure when you're playing. And like I say, emotional roller coaster, and it's more that than anything else, like emotionally grueling. And when you play a normal tournament, I guess you're back to normal and you're playing for yourself again. And like we went straight to the Dunhill, which is an event that I absolutely love, but it's definitely a very different, it's a different feeling, but also it's quite nice in a way because I guess you very rarely play a tournament where you feel as sort of calm as the following week of a Ryder Cup.
True, yeah, I suppose there is that flip side. Luke Donald has been showered with praise, rightly so. He's been meticulous, as all the good captains are. When did it become apparent to you that he was, potentially a special captain, someone who was going to be a great leader?
He's been great through the entire process. Whatever that's been, 18 months or so. I think he's been great in the way that he's still playing, which is always a massive benefit because he's always around at the tournaments. He's communicated well with a lot of people. I was close to Luke before the Ryder Cup anyway, so that was great for me. I've spent a lot of time, having practice rounds or eating with Luke at tournaments, so I think he was great at that. And then in particular, I think some of the ideas that he brought, the practice day that we had a week and a half prior to the Ryder Cup when we all travelled to Italy together, I think that was arguably the best thing we did about the whole Ryder Cup. Just that day and a half where you spend all that time together, everything kind of beds in, you have a great time at the golf course, you get to know each other that bit more, which is always it always happens, but that's obviously happening on the Tuesday or the Wednesday of the Ryder Cup, whereas we did that 2 weeks prior. Then we went to Wentworth and all played golf together because we were drawn together. So I think that was great. And then the way that he spoke in all the team meetings, the way that, we had a presence and an air about him that I think was really, really cool. And I think everybody, watched him speak, and everybody just had a lot of respect for Luke being the captain and the decisions that he was making. And, on top of that, we played well and we won. So you always look great. But he was fantastic. I, speak very highly about him.
How did the foursomes partnership with Rory come about? Was it something that he thought of? Was it kind of data led? Was it personality led? Or was it the fact that you knew it was going to be a Fleetwood Mac, therefore it was always going to be a media favourite?
Totally the name. We've actually been close to playing together before in a Ryder Cup, and it's not quite worked out the way that the team's been set up in the past. So we've been close before. Games, from a foursome standpoint, our games match up pretty well, but then Luke was very big on foursomes. If there's guys that are playing a similar golf ball, put those guys together. So that was great for us. We actually use a different ball, but Rory can very easily transition into the golf ball that I'm using. So that was what we did. So that was probably the main reason, if you like. Luke was massive on if you're playing foursomes and there's guys play with the same golf ball, because that makes a massive difference. If your personalities are going to match together and everything like that, then you guys go out. So me and Rory, obviously very happy. I'll play with Rory McIlroy any day in a foursome scenario.
It's not a bad guy to have hit you every other shot.
Yeah, I know, and I just think, again, we're close, and I think we've played together a lot, and I think our games match very, very well. And it was, a joy being out on the golf course with him in those scenarios. And I said at the time, how many people would love a round of golf with Rory McIlroy, and I get to do it in a Ryder Cup. So that was great for me.
For us mere mortals, Tommy, who will never experience this, what's it like to be able to hit Rory's drives?
They weren't always straight. I'll tell you. We actually in the practice day that we did in Italy the 2 weeks prior. Obviously, the partnerships were kind of something that we've been speaking about there, and I remember we were on the first hole. And it was me, Rory, Victor, and Ludwig playing in the practice round. And we got a course report from Eduardo Molinari. And so he had information about the hole. But on every hole, there was he had a little purple dot on the planner. And that was supposedly the ideal tee shot. That was where, if you could put it there, that's the best possible scenario. And Rory stood up on the first, and I think he hit it 30 yards past the ideal drive and in the middle of the fairway. So I said, I can play foursomes from there, no problem.
That's okay.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing that I find is I've played with him a lot in tournaments, but the thing is with Rory McIlroy, no matter where you hit it, there's a chance that he's going to pull it off, no matter where he is, because he just he's that good, and I think that's pretty cool. Just watching the few bad shots that I did hit. You just watch Rory working a shot out where he's going to take it on, which any of us would have no chance of even seeing, let alone playing. And I think that was kind of a cool thing to watch.
You took down Cantlay and Schauffele in the first day, I think, to do the sweep in the morning on the foursomes. They were an unbeaten pair from Whistling Straits, so they were one of the heavyweight American pairs. Obviously, two great players. That must have felt huge.
Yeah, I think that first morning of foursomes was just an amazing result for us, and you enjoy playing against partnerships like that. It's an amazing opportunity when you're playing against them. I think they were a great pairing, but me and Rory, who hadn't played together, we thought we were a great pairing as well. So I'm very happy to go up against those guys and test yourself against the best players and the best pairings. And I think, again, if you're not already motivated, you have the opportunity to take on, like you and everybody else said, arguably their best partnership, and we had the chance to play them and get a huge point, what we felt was for Europe. So we felt pretty good about it, and I was very excited to play those. And And yeah, in the end, get the point and you feel great about it. But I think just overall, the opportunity to play against those was great for me and Rory.
Yeah, for sure. It was great to watch as well. Can tell you that, Tommy. In terms of all the sort of storylines that evolve in a Ryder Cup over the course of it, it feels like so much happens in 3 days. And of course, we know Rory got quite sort of emotionally uptight on the Saturday with the caddy situation. Did that filter into the team room at all? Because he said it was a motivating factor for him. Was that discussed at all in the team room?
Well, yeah, of course it filters in. I think all it was the home crowd plays a huge part in the Ryder Cup. Of course it does. And I think I actually found it pretty funny, the hat thing with Patrick. And I was actually on 16. Patrick was laughing about it walking down the fairway. And fair play to him. The way that he finished that match was phenomenal. Was awesome. Yeah, he did great. And the putty hold was brilliant and an amazing moment for their team. And all of us felt like the celebration had just gone on a bit long and was in Rory's way. And after that, the emotions of the Ryder Cup play a part. And a bit of needle there for a little bit. But that was great and just all part of the Ryder Cup. And I think nobody would want to change that. And everything's fine. Everything's fine now and once it's done. But of course, it was you look for whatever motivating factors you can get in a Ryder Cup, and you look for whatever edge that you can get when you're playing. And that was one of them for Rory and the rest of our team that, they had their motivation by the way that sort of the interaction with Patrick was. And it was like on that 18th was an amazing moment for them. And, good for Patrick, like the way that he finished. Obviously, we would have liked it to have gone another way, but you look for whatever edge that you can get, like I say, and that was one for us. And we went out the next day, and then you just focus on your game and play after that.
And how did it feel going off at 11? Because obviously, historically, that's a significant kind of area to be in the singles. I know that you guys had a big lead, and you probably thought, hey, it might even be wrapped up by the time my match comes down to the back nine and the stretch. But as the Americans seized that control in the sort of middle part of the singles draw, was there a sense that were you distracted by that at all? Did you start thinking kind of ahead of yourself at all?
It is a strange place to be, 11, and I played 11 at Whistling Straits as well. And so first of all, the singles is so different to the other 2 days. Everything's spread out a lot more, and especially if you're going out that late, you've had a lie-in, and then by the time you're warming up, the first 2 or 3 groups have gone out, and in general, the crowd follows the first 2 or 3 groups, so it's like ridiculously quiet when you're warming up, and then you get to the tee and there's a few people left. But on the course, it's strange. It's really weird and a strange place to be. And I think like with that comes a bit of experience as well. Like playing 11 in Whistling Straits, I remember me and Jordan were playing each other, and so if there's a big lead, the chances are that the Ryder Cup is going to be over before it gets to your match. Of course, you want to win your match, but the whole point is that the team are there to win the Ryder Cup. So if that's done, then you're kind of wandering around and finishing your match. Like you kind of want to win. Of course, you want the pride of winning, but then Ryder Cup's over. So you're either celebrating because the Ryder Cup's won, or you're gutted because the Ryder Cup's been won by the other team. So that's strange in itself. And then the other point is that if you have a lead like we have, and then it is going to come down to you, that's a lot of pressure all of a sudden. So there's a few scenarios that go with it, and like I'll probably end up playing there again now, but I've
you've made the spot your own.
In all honesty, like it wasn't particularly my first choice to go out 11. And I, like Luke said after it, he said, I know you probably didn't want to go there, and I was like, yeah, but thanks for the opportunity now. Like it all worked out, and it is like as the singles were playing out. Like I had some notes to myself wrote down, because everybody's been very big on you concentrate on your point, don't get overly caught up in the scoreboard, because in singles particularly the matches can to and fro a lot more than in four balls. Four balls, it's very, very hard to win a hole. you have to make a birdie or better. A lot of the time you're playing better ball, and it's very, very hard to change that leaderboard. Whereas in singles, you can win a hole with a bogey or a par. It can to and fro. So we're very big on don't look at the leaderboard too much, or don't fall in love with whatever the scores are. Focus on your point, do your thing, stay in the present, try and take control of it that way. So I had things like that wrote down, which I was trying to focus on. But as you're going through, as you're getting sort of through the round and you're looking at the board, you're looking at it, and then there's the potential scenario that it's going to come down to one of these back matches. And that's the point where you start feeling sick, and that's where you just have to just get on with it and play. And when it does come down, when you think about it clearly, what an unbelievable opportunity in your life to be there and be able to play that part.
And 16, I mean, a word for the course, because I thought the course as a Ryder Cup venue was incredible.
Yeah, it was great.
Superb.
It was, yeah.
16 with all the jeopardy there. You could make an eagle, you could make a bogey or a double bogey. 17, really sort of fearsome par 3, and then I know not many matches went to 18, but that was a great hole as well.
Yeah, we said that. We said that I played the Italian Open in 21, and we did say that what an unbelievable finish this could be for the Ryder Cup.
Right.
And we played, when you play the tournament, 16 wasn't always drivable, but I had a feeling they would make it drivable every day. 17 an amazing par 3, and there was some great shots on that, and then 18 a par 5, obviously, where you saw some cool things happen. So it was an unbelievable finish for a Ryder Cup.
And 16, Tommy, I mean, the day before, Jordan had been unsure about his club selection. He'd had a conversation with Zach about the club choice, and he ended up hitting a poor shot. You've seen your opponent, Ricky, hit it in the water. What's the conversation with Ian at this point? Or was there one where you already said?
Yeah, actually one of the things that I'm most proud of about that moment was the conversation that we had, and how I would say kind of how in the present moment that we both were, you're gonna hit a good shot or a bad shot, but I think the build up to the shot was something that I was very proud of in how we took our time and we discussed like the two options. There was two options. I was going to hit my mini driver, which was always going to be sort of verging on short left. I just felt like I didn't want to hit that shot, even though Ricky got in the water. To me, I was one good shot away from winning the Ryder Cup. That was the point that we were at this time. And I had Shane in front and Bob behind, so there was still, there was obviously the three of us now one of us was going to be the lucky one that got the point, hopefully. And when we were talking about it, I just thought, you one good shot away and you're done. And it was tee the driver down a bit and just put a normal swing on it. Ball was never going to start right. And that was it really. And then, looked up and it was going straight.
One of the great tee picks, by the way. With the Pro Tracer, as it's just drifting.
It is a good picture.
In the middle of the green, and you're already down for the tee. How was there like a surge of relief in your body as soon as the ball left the club face?
You've got no idea. Actually, honestly, I haven't even watched the Ryder Cup back. So I haven't seen. I've seen a couple of clips of that drive because it was on social media and everything, but I actually haven't seen it play out in real time at all. I've seen that picture again a lot, which is a really cool picture. But yeah, like that. I think honestly, the biggest feeling at the time, I was pretty pumped when I saw where it was going, and then you can't see the green because of the sun shining down on it, so you wait for the crowd's reaction. So there was an initial reaction when it bounced on the green, and then there was a second one when it had stayed on the green. And it could give me goosebumps now, but it was like
so good.
It was a very, very cool feeling, and then you get to walk the whole hole, because really, it doesn't feel it when you've got a putt, but I think everybody kind of was like, we've done it at the time at the crowd, but when it's you, you're like, I've still got a putt.
Were you surprised Ricky's gimme? Because it was decent length putt.
I think it was closer than what people think.
Oh, really?
The way that I would put it, I mean, he didn't have to give me it, of course, could still make me hole. It was 2 feet, and there was one Friday morning in the foursomes, and Rory hit that iron shot on 17, and it was in any other scenario it was a gimme, and the guys made me putt it, which was fine. It was like a 2-foot putt. That was a very similar length, probably. I was very happy picking it up. That was for sure. But again, like, you know, it was one of those things. I think I'm pretty sure I was never going to miss it, and I do think it was closer. And that was sort of, in a way, like, it's a little bit frustrating because there's two things that people say. Either people say that was an amazing tee shot, or people would say, "Can't believe he gave you the putt." And really, it was like, you know, a great shot, and I putted it down to just under 2 feet, like, and it was a gimme. And but, like, you know, I think Ricky said, you know, you were never going to miss that putt, which more than likely wasn't. But,
no.
I was equally as happy just picking it up.
It shows the level of you boys, that, you know, how many of you put it to within an eagle putt range on a par four, that you guys were playing it like a par 3. It was driver, but, you know, the ball was kind of running up through the back of the green. It does occur to me, and you hit some outrageous shots, Tommy, chip-ins, long putts. Do you feel you play better golf in the Ryder Cup than you do in regular tournament play, or is it just a different type of golf?
No, I think it's a different type of golf, and I think you know, I think looking at it as a whole in the Ryder Cups that I've played, first Ryder Cup I was so lucky. I had Fran next to me, played with me all 4 days. Who was playing the golf of his life, and I was playing great at the time as well. Couldn't have felt more comfortable in my first Ryder Cup, really, for the experience that it is, and played very well. You know, Western Straits was tough for all of us. I played okay, and then this one, I think I came into it playing well, playing solid, like a lot of us did, and yeah, I mean, I feel good. I feel like we, you know, all of us really have a really good. I think we just have a great sort of feeling for team golf and a really good attitude about it. I think we all enjoy it, and I mean, for me, I mean, you look at my partners. I've had Fran, Victor, and Rory. So maybe
okay.
I think the secret, and Nikolai as well, who we were very close to. And so, you know, you look at those, and I think the key probably is to pick great partners and then just do your thing.
I thought what Justin said was interesting about being the custodian of the shirt and kind of paying homage to the history of the event, and kind of having that almost that lineage and that connection to what it means to be a Ryder Cup player. Does that resonate with you? Yeah,
massively. And I think you know, for us, we speak about it a lot. You know, we're just part of a legacy that's been going on a long time before us, and it'll be going on a long time after us. And our job right now, or it was at that Ryder Cup, was to carry that legacy and give it another piece of history on the right side of it. And yeah, look, we're not. The Ryder Cup is a huge part of anybody's career, and I think we have individually. You take a lot of pride in what your Ryder Cup record might be, or certain matches that you might have won, but overall, it's all about winning the Ryder Cup and playing a part in, or adding, if you like, to the legacy that's gone before us. Because I think it's just such a huge part of our lives, and a huge part of our tour, and a huge part of European golf is the Ryder Cup legacy. And Justin couldn't have said it any better. And I think he spoke amazing in that piece that he said, and we're all very, very aware of that's what we're there to do.
What will it take? Because Rory said it in the press conference, winning an away Ryder Cup has become clearly one of the hardest things to do in sport. And there's no getting away from that. You know, the Americans are so strong on their home soil. You know, they've got a very motivated team. They've got an excellent team. In New York at Bethpage, it's going to take something Herculean, isn't it, to win that Ryder Cup?
Probably. I think, again, I love that it's one of the hardest things to do in sport. It's not the hardest things to do in golf. It's one of the hardest things to do in sport. Really is. And I love that golf can, you know, play that role and transcend through all sports. And I think, again, all of us are on a high right now because of what this result was, and we don't have. It'll be a different motivation next time than what we had this time. We were coming back home this time. We weren't happy with the way that the Ryder Cup had gone 2 years ago. We had a lot to prove, and I think so the motivations will be different. But again, what an opportunity for us, for whoever the team is. Like, the qualification that starts again in however long that is, in a year or a little under a year, and all of us will be so motivated again to try and make that team, and then go to an away Ryder Cup and have the opportunity to do something like you say is one of the hardest achievements in sport right now, and that is to win an away Ryder Cup. And if you like, it's different because you have everything to gain in this one. I think, we can still look at 4 years the way that it went when we were last in America. Pretty sure none of us want to let that happen again. But going to New York and having the chance to go into that cauldron and get together and try and win that Ryder Cup will be something that's really, really cool.
Is it fans, Tommy, or is it course setup that plays a bigger role?
Well, I think it's a bit of everything. Of course, it's some course setup. The fans play a huge role in it, because when you're at home, any kind of momentum that you have, you're riding the wave of the crowd. It's massive. And then any time you're struggling, the crowd are there. Once they, start making some noise, they can pick you up and carry you further than maybe you might go when the crowd's not on your side. So, yeah, they play a huge part in it. And Luke was big on that the crowd were our 13th man, and used them. But when it's an away one, you've got to find different ways of creating that the atmosphere for yourselves, because there's. The team is bigger than 12. There's 12 players, but the team is a lot bigger than that are there. So you all become that family, and you all fight for each other. And yeah, you're going against the tide, if you like, for the entire week.
Would you endorse Luke having another crack?
Yeah, I think Luke was. I've been very lucky with the captains that I've had in the Ryder Cup. People that have all been close to me throughout my career: Thomas, Padraig, and Luke. And yeah, Luke, if that's the route that we go, then I think Luke would be an amazing, and that's it might end up coming down to Luke. It's his decision. It's his and Diane's decision, if you like. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and there's a lot of time. But I think all of us, like Rory said in the press conference, all of us would be very happy playing under the lead and captaincy of Luke again.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
The First Tee with Robbie Greenfield and Zane Scotland. Brought to you by the DP World Tour. The Race to Dubai.